You know what it is. Welcome to another episode of Fuck You, Dad. Today we've got a very special guest. You might have seen him on Showtime or HBO. Those are two big channels. He's got a special Son of a Gary on HBO. Highly recommend it. Everybody give it up for Mr. Dan Soder.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Dan? How you been?
I'm good. Fuck you, Dad. Is that
Yes.
what you do when you come on the show?
It's a good intro, absolutely.
I've never been so confident going into an episode because a lot of guests that we ask to be on are they're like, I really love my dad a lot.
Yeah.
So is that okay to be on? But
he's my friend.
Yeah.
He's
my hero.
Anyone that can contact them should not be on this show.
Yeah.
But
That's like your prerequisite where it's like, when's the last time you talked to your dad? And if anyone goes, like a couple of years ago? Yeah. You want to do my podcast?
Yeah, no, that sounds perfect. I'm sure you've got some stories.
Yeah, dude. The Son of a Gary is not a title because I love my father.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking with this one. Well, one, it was like when we were drunk at a bar and we were like, fuck you. We were saying stories back and forth about our dads. We kept saying, fuck you, Dad. And we were like, that's kind of a good
It's a funny name.
Yeah,
We'll
that's
throw
a
it
good
on
name.
there.
Yeah. It definitely gets your attention.
Right? And now I've noticed, like, before I come up on stage, like a douche, I'm like, can you plug my podcast? I never thought I'd be that guy, but now I'm that guy because it gets kind of like it gets them chubbed up a little bit for the set, you know?
Sure. What is do you have them bring you up as F you, Dad, or fuck you, Dad?
I think you usually go full fuck.
I usually go full fuck.
That makes
Because F you, Dad, they're like, is this kid like a pussy?
Yeah, is he in middle school?
F you, Dad.
Yeah.
I'm mad at you. That's like the podcast where you flip your dad off when he turns the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is you. That's my favorite line in the Weird and Wild, Wonderful Whites of West Virginia. This fucking awesome documentary. Is this kid just goes, "This is you, Dennis. This is you, Dennis." He's talking about his dad.
I'm sure it's because he wouldn't pay for his pills.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. I gotta look that kid up. God only knows. God only knows.
Are you Googling right now?
No, I was loading a bowl.
Oh, okay. I was like, hell yeah,
Going
man.
full research on that one.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Guys, hold the podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna pause the whole thing.
If you guys could, I gotta track this kid down.
So, Dan, I know growing up you were I think that's why you're gonna get along with my co-host a lot, because you two were both kind of like garbage children. Like you kind of started.
What is that supposed to be?
You know what it means. When did you start taking pills, Kenyon? 14, 15?
Oh yeah, like around there.
Okay,
Damn,
so acknowledge it.
Did you grow up in Manhattan?
No, I grew up in North Carolina, baby.
Yeah, that's like the two things. It's either rural or the biggest city in the world. Kids are like any kid that grew up like probably 14 miles from a Circle K got a good opiate problem by the time they were 12, and then every kid that grew up on the Upper East Side had to be in rehab by the time they were 13 and a half.
It's a lot like gambling. You have like either you're very like destitute people or like very rich people. Those are the only two sides. Yeah,
it's a good point, man. They fucking nailed those markets.
Yeah,
they're like, we got them. We got both of these.
But I've always wondered if you got any into actually like real trouble when you were a kid, or did you kind of?
No. I was a pussy. I was a total like. I loved being the funny guy in the group. I didn't want to push any buttons. You know what I mean?
Okay. So you weren't like a fighting kind of kid.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, dude. I did not fight at all. I loved being silly, and I hung out with the kids that liked to fight. So I mean, I got in fights, but I wasn't. It was never like I was never the kid that started the fight. I think anytime I ever got into a fight, it was because I was there, and it was just my group of friends, and something was going down. But I was never like. Yeah, they had to put me in a padded room when I was 12 years old and I fought everybody. I was a sensitive little bitch. I was just like, I liked the Simpsons, wrestling, and the 49ers, and then everything else I was like, yeah, I'll get through it, Now,
the 49ers, are you a fan of them because of your dad?
Yeah, totally. It's the only thing we shared.
Me and my dad.
Really, I've thought about
Sports
that.
Is the only thing most people share with their dad, I think.
Yeah, it's modern day religion. It's just like it's like it gets passed down to you. That's why when people like mock Steelers fans or whatever, and they're like, "All right, get a life," and you're like, "No, dude, that's like That's their Catholicism.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
it's their
what they
inherit.
got.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like when you see a guy shirtless, painted, shit on his chest, the man loves something. Let him love it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Let him, dude. If someone wants to jump through a fucking table in a parking lot in Buffalo, let them celebrate their religion. Let them get CTE the long way.
The Super Bowl is on a Sunday for a reason.
Yeah, dude. Football's on. I mean, I think there's been essays written about that, about how football's the new religion because it is on Sundays and it grabs the attention of everyone. The way church, because if you think about it, church probably got people before football, like back in like the 1600s.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Crazy stories from the Bible.
Yeah.
Where they're like, a whale ate a man. And they're like, holy shit.
There's people with big
happens
signs
next?
with just a letter G and Zus. Just
Yeah.
like, Jesus, Jesus.
Jesus, he has risen. He has risen. And that's like, you'd think like the reason that the Chiefs fans use the tomahawk chop is because it probably scared the shit out of everyone that stole the land from the original Chiefs.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason. So I don't know, like football was the only thing my dad and I, first off, ever really talked about. But second, just had in common where there was no bullshit. There was
Exactly.
there was so much bullshit in everything. In every other aspect of our relationship, it was full of bullshit except the Niners. It was like I could call him and be like, they beat the Saints. And I was like a 9-year-old talking to an alcoholic fucking 43-year-old like we were bar buddies. And I think that helped me with stand-up. I think that was like, I've said jokingly on stage before, but I kind of mean it. I feel like my mom's not being honest with me. And I feel like my parents in '88 were like, you want to make this kid a comic? Like, you disappear. I will ride him like a son of a bitch until he's 16 and then just hands off the wheel. And then let's see where he goes.
It's like Tiger Woods. Did you watch that Tiger Woods documentary?
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Where that guy just hits balls in front of his infant for like hours and hours and hours.
That's what it was. My dad showed me Pryor and Dangerfield and then, that was he's my Earl Woods. And it was the opposite for comedy. You just can't be in their life.
Yeah,
Earl Woods was too much in Tiger's life. And then my dad was like, I'm gone.
Well, so he didn't live with you guys, right? He left pretty.
No, he did we moved. I was born in Connecticut and then we moved to Colorado when I was like 4 or 5 because my mom's family was there and she got transferred for her job. And then they got divorced almost immediately. And then my dad moved like 3 months later back to San Francisco. So he was in San Francisco as long as I can remember.
Okay.
He lived in California.
Gotcha. And you would go visit him like what? Was it like once a year kind of thing?
Shit, man, depending on how much child support got paid. Sometimes it was, more than likely it was like twice. My mom, I think even my mom was like, all right, he's got to see his kid twice a year.
Yeah. Would you go more if he paid or if he didn't pay?
I would go more if he paid child support.
Oh, I see. I thought it was like if he didn't pay, she was like, you go to your dad's house and you get that money.
Yeah, I thought you were coming like a collections person.
Hey, Dad, how you doing? I noticed seeing you have a nice girlfriend. Shame if I told her you don't pay your ex.
Exactly. You just
Dad,
extort your dad for the child
Words
support.
can be a powerful thing, Gary. I'm thinking you don't take me by that Toys R Us and buy me that WWE ring. We're going to have some problems with your friend Cheryl, is it? Cheryl seems like a nice lady.
Child support does sound like a mafia term for what it is, right? Like, you want to support your kid, right? You want to see him grow?
Yeah, it's protection. My mom is grabbing it like protection. Dude, my mom was one of those white ladies that really, Patrice did a joke about it, but she really was one of those white ladies in the early 90s that was like, I'm going to the courts. I'm taking this son of a bitch to the And then my dad, honestly, I gotta say, he fucking outfoxed her and he just went off the grid. He was like, good luck, dude.
Living in an RV somewhere.
I was gonna ask, so you never got to, there wasn't like your dad in court story, like that never happened? He just kind of...
the closest one that happened was when my mom, when they had gotten divorced, it was the custody battle. And I remember this specifically. She was like, you're going to have to come into court and tell the judge who you want to live with. And
That's
I was like,
so cruel.
Brutal.
and I mean, they made kids fucking do that.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, you know. And then I was like, well, what if I want to? I think it was like I said something like, well, what if I want to live with dad?
Yeah, that's such a huge decision to
Yeah,
put on.
yeah.
How old were you? Like
5.
Yeah,
what the fuck?
Yeah, and then I remember my mom was like, dude, this is such a fucking flex on my dad. And my mom was like, if your dad shows up and you want to live with him, you can live with him. And I was like,
She knew.
okay.
She knew.
I said it. Yeah, I said it like, okay, that was kind of shitty. And then we showed up to court, and it was just an empty chair. And I was like, oh fuck, you knew what you were talking about. Fucking nailed it.
Guaranteed.
Trish just fucking knew it. She Ali'd me.
Yeah, she went all. She put all of her chips on. He's not showing up. And boom.
Custody is mine. It will
Yeah.
end in 9. And I'm like, oh shit, you knew it. He will not show, and I will probably. Yes. Then she she levied his wages at the end. But what's so funny is they enacted a bill in 1997. We looked this up on the Bonfire. They enacted a bill in 1997 called the Deadbeat Dad Law.
Wow. I'm
could
surprised we
go
didn't
to-
know about that.
Yeah.
You can go to prison for not paying child support. If the court rules that you have to pay child support and you go over a certain amount, it's this law that then you can be put in jail or prison. And it was enacted, we looked this up, in 1997, the year my dad died. My dad was like, fuck you, lady. Yeah.
Charge me from the grave, bitch.
Yeah. Come get these bones. I'm getting cremated. So,
They can't put
it
a
was-
ghost in jail, son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He heard
Get
about
a
the
week.
law and he's like, I'm out. I'm not holding on
Yeah.
any longer.
He's like, fuck it, liver, kick
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
So did you did you grow up with like lots of stepdads? Is that a weird question to ask? Like, was your mom
No,
getting
it's not.
fucked?
Yeah, dude, my mom was getting boned on the regular.
Yeah, that's what we
It
wanted
was,
to know.
My mom was good about it, but she dated my entire childhood, and then I had a stepdad from when I was like 8 to 11, and
Okay.
then boyfriends after that. So she only got remarried once, and he was cool. I liked my stepdad. My stepdad Nick was cool as fuck. Some of her boyfriends were just straight up dildos.
See, the boyfriends are supposed to be cool, and then the stepdad
No.
is supposed to be a dildo. But you had
Stepdad was what's up. I don't think she married him unless I would have given the nod. Like we were close.
Oh, okay.
It's like when you're an only child and you have a single mom, it's just kind of a relationship where she's like, she took what I thought into great consideration.
I envy that so much because in
Why?
my family, I was just for the ride. I'm on the roller coaster. Wherever they go, I go. I don't have any say in it, you know.
Yeah, there was this weird thing that my mom always did, and she did this even when I was a baby, where she would always speak to me like an adult. Like she wouldn't, and not in a way where it was like too personal, but she would just kind of be like, when she would talk to me, she'd be like, what's going on? Why are you doing this? Like we would have conversations as opposed to her being like, damn,
Yeah.
do that. My mom would be like, no, fuck that. Like I remember my mom being like, get in the car. And it's not like, and I'm like, I don't want it. She'd be like, Dan. And I'm like, all right, I got it. But we had a relationship that was very like, I think I heard someone one time call it a husband. I was like her little son husband, where she would just be like, do this. I mean, it fucked me up in other ways, but what I really loved about it was, I could talk to adults like adults. Like that was like my thing. And my dad loved it because he would take me when I would see him. He was he moved up north to that lake town, and God, when I was like 9 or 10,
Okay.
I want to say 9. And then he was a bartender at a bowling alley. So when I would go hang out with him
The
at
best
work,
place to be a bartender.
oh, it is seedy.
Yeah, because like normal bar patrons are like, I'm here to drink, but bowling is like pretending like you're not there to drink, but really
Yeah.
you're there to
Very
drink.
well said. It is absolutely it's a fucking deek.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, I just went to play bowling and now
Exactly.
I'm asleep in the parking
Yeah.
lot.
Those people are there to hide. They're hiding
Yeah.
from something.
Yeah, mostly probably child support.
Yeah.
That's what most of them are hiding from. That's a fucking child support den.
Yeah.
Listen, if I throw a perfect game, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Liz, what do you want from me, Betsy? I rolled a 270. Get off my goddamn ass.
2 more strikes and I get a free game. Okay?
Oh, just put the kid outside. 120. Yeah, it was wild. It was wild meeting those people.
Yeah,
Because
you would
like-
hang out there as a kid, the bowling alley?
Yeah, but I got to play video games and bowl.
Yeah,
and
that
it
does
was
seem
like-
really
That's
fun.
a great, probably best memories
You
you
worked
have.
at a. Yeah, I mean, ironically, my favorite memories of he and I are when he worked at a liquor store named Dan's Liquors in Mill
Oh, there
Valley.
you go.
I've had fans go by and take pictures. I go by there every time I go visit my grandma because my grandma still lives in Northern California.
Okay.
So I'll go by there and buy a Gatorade and a water is kind of like a pillage.
Yeah,
because it
homage.
really,
That's nice.
in my mind, that was like the best time. It's when I was like, I think it was 2 summers and a winter that I went out there and just spent like 2 to 3 weeks with my dad, and I would go to work with him every day, and we would just like hang out. And that's honestly when we talk about the Niners.
Yeah,
that's-
okay. That's dope
took-
as shit.
Yeah, and then he would like take me. It was always in the summer, so like the Giants were playing, so we'd go to Candlestick Park a lot and see the Giants play.
Oh,
It was-
and is that where you ended up, did you have to pee at some point at Candlestick
dude.
Park?
my dad taught me very few man lessons, but because when you're raised by a lady, you get feminine energy where you're like, especially little boys, they can get huffy.
Yes.
Like-
yeah.
Like a mom.
Yeah.
Like my mom's huffy, and so I always, when I was little, I'd get like,
Yeah.
I need to pee. I need to pee. Like I was a good kid, but I would get huffy if I had, and my dad was like, we just left Candlestick Park after a Giants game, and my dad was like, all right, so just piss in the parking lot, and I was like, no.
Yeah. Especially because mom would never do that.
Yeah.
Mom would never
Mom
do
would find you at least a porta potty.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Dad was like, nah, man, just piss here.
Yeah.
And he'd always call me pal. And I'd be like, I was like, I gotta pee. He's like, pal, just piss under the car. And I was like, but I can't. And then I remember my dad was like, I just remember he had a Marlboro Red, like in between his finger and his middle finger, and he did the thing where he touched the bridge of his nose.
like
and he
that,
went,
like that meme on the internet of that. Same
of Ben
pose.
Affleck.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
basically like the Ben Affleck thing where he was like, I remember he took a pull of a cigarette and he went, just piss under the car. And I was like, okay.
That's such a post-drag statement
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
You saying this actually just remembered me of a quick story. I have very similar thing. Me and my dad, I grew up in Minneapolis, and we had twin season tickets.
Yeah.
And he's a British guy, so baseball was really the only American sport he could understand because he loved.
Yeah, it's American cricket.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and he loved cricket. So
Yeah.
he loved baseball. We go to the baseball game. Every time we go to the baseball game, he gets very drunk, like off of what he would call Nat's piss, which is Michelob.
Bad beer. Yeah, dude.
And it would get to a point where he would flag down the guy who would walking down our aisle and go like, one Nat's piss, and the guy would know what that is and give him
Dude,
a Michelob.
growing up with a dad with pub speak had
Yeah.
to be awesome. He's
Yeah.
like, well, look who just walked in the door. If it ain't me little piffer, if it ain't me little wobbly Barry himself. Ah. He's like, Dad, what are you talking about? He's
Exactly.
Like, oh, piss off, you aunt. Ah, you fucking grubby
I
aunt.
should have never left home, I tell you what, lads. You'd
I'll
be
tell
a
you
bloody plonker if you were over there.
We'd be having your fight boys down by the river.
So after the game, like you said, we're by the parking lot, except I don't have to pee. He has to pee.
Oh, shit.
And he's going-
That's a felony.
Right? And we're in a garage, so it's not a lot. It's a garage, and he goes, God, could use a piss, son. And he would call me lad all the time. He's like, gotta piss, lad. And he told me to. He's like, go out that door. We were in the staircase. He's
Sure.
like, go out that door. Make sure nobody comes in. And
Yeah.
he starts pissing, right? And I'm standing at this door. All of a sudden, I would say like it was like a young couple, must have been, but to me, it was like old couple. I'm a
Giants.
kid,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, they
I
were
can't,
giants.
I can't talk to these people. I can't
Right.
say anything. So they started coming towards the door, and I started just going to my dad. So I just fling open the door, and I just see his dick pissing into the corner, like right by the door, almost on my foot. And I'm like, Dad, they're coming. And he's like, oh, for fuck's sake, just tell him to leave. And I go, you tell him. And I'm like running into another corner, and
That's so
he
funny.
just starts yelling like, I'm pissing, I'm having a piss, I'm having a piss. And these people looked terrified because it's
absolutely.
foreign, and he's yelling about piss, and there was a kid.
Yeah, who left? Who left screaming?
Yeah,
Exactly.
kid running
The
scared.
characters. I need to get out of here while I
I
can.
can't believe I forgot about this until Dave mentioned
Oh,
it.
that's how trauma works, Nick.
Yeah.
It hides it deep in the brain. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot about it. Also, something really weird happened at camp one time. I just all coming to me now in a dark blur.
Guys, you just fucking opened a door.
Yeah.
I'm remembering some bad stuff now. Some bottom bunk tales. Yeah, I mean, covering for your dad is always funny.
Yeah.
Always
brilliant.
funny. Having a child cover for you to take a piss. Sorry, my dad. You could have been real creative if you're like, sorry, my dad's sucking his own dick.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That ain't what I'm saying. Hold the fuck on.
But nothing at that like that had happened, so I wasn't funny yet, or I wasn't creative. You know, there was no scars, so I was just a blank slate, scared.
You're just a sweet, soft, pink belly little boy
Yeah.
with no scars on you.
The best part to me is he also had to drive afterwards. So just this hammer that he's pissing in a parking lot, yelling at people, and he's like, "Let me safely drunk drive my son home." After all this.
That's so fucking funny because I've been noticing more and more of the stories I tell from childhood. I'm like, wait, they were fucking hammered.
Yeah.
But we got home.
As sometimes you do when you're drunk driving, which we
Yeah.
don't unreported.
That's true. Those are unreported. The successes.
I feel like with the internet now, it's going to leave a trail of your dirt way more than what it used to. Because you used to like, my dad died in 97. So I was like, oh, you know, I always had this thing of like, he was just a tortured soul and it just, alcohol got him. It just snuck up and got him. And then I was helping my grandma move storage units and I found this bowling ball bag. And I was like, why the fuck does my dad have a bowling ball bag? My dad didn't bowl. He fucking worked at a bowling alley. That was it. And I opened the bag and it was just like a fucking receipt for a DUI. You're like,
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit, dude. You like start to see stuff and you're like, oh, fuck, man. You kept the paperwork?
Yeah.
You should have burned this, dude.
And it's like alcoholics now too, when they quit drinking, you can still like peruse the photos of their past and you see them with their buddies like carrying them and you're like, oh, that guy was a mess. So
Yeah. Smoking, I remember my mom quit smoking cigarettes when I was 6. And then there's pictures we have in a photo book of like my parents in the late 70s in San Francisco. And they are fucking smoking and drinking. And I'm like, damn, y'all were a party couple.
yeah.
Because now I'm older than the age they were when they had me. And I'm like, I know exactly who you guys were. You were the fun couple that went and had a kid. And I'm that fucking kid. Holy shit.
And everyone was secretly concerned but didn't want to say anything.
Who's going to call shots?
I bet if some of their old friends saw this podcast, they'd be like, your head is big for a reason.
Yeah.
I was there. I let your mother drink.
Yeah.
You're like, son of a bitch.
Well, Dan, is there anything that you want to plug before we head out?
Bonfire, Monday through Thursday on Sirius XM Faction Talk 103. And then if you have HBO Max, check out Son of a Gary.
It's fucking hilarious.
Hilarious
And
stuff.
you're back on the road, so go check out your website, right? Is it just dansoder.com?
Yeah, dansoder.com for live dates. I'm back on the road. Pretty heavy.
Well, are you coming to Chicago anytime soon? No.
I think I'm working out a new date for Zanies.
Oh, okay. Well,
Hopefully.
we'll see you then, for sure.
Hopefully, you know. Yeah, I was after the HBO special came out, I was going to do a run of theaters. I was going to do Chicago, Detroit, and Cleveland. And I was like, getting real ready for it in January 2020. And then old COVID was like, go back 5 steps. Fuck. And I was like, got it. You got it.
Well, Dan, it's been a blast, man. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, I'm glad I can remember you covering for your dad pissing.
Yeah, that was huge.
God, we should all be so lucky as to have a fucking pub dad.
I know. It was pretty fantastic. And what's worse now is he knows about the podcast, and so he'll hear me remembering that. So
oh, bloody shit. He's probably going to call you and be like, that guy with the dead dad's English accent sucked. And you know what, sir? You're not wrong.
It's better than a lot of people try. So
yeah, I just do cartoonish.
Yeah, it's all right, though. It's not bad. All right, Dan.
Bye, guys.
If we ever had a family movie, it's probably that one about how 9/11 was an inside job.
And I looked over at him, and he looked over at me with his whiskey, and he goes, "When boys were bloody men."
Give him a call. And he's like, yeah, I'm in Ohio. And he said it so casually. He said it like, yeah, I'm going to be a little late. I'm just going to need to go to Canada real quick.